You ever been knocked out?
Not out cold. I got TKO'd in my last kickboxing fight, but I've never been knocked out like that. That's I've seen a lot of people.
It's got to be a scary situation when you wake up and come to. There's one where I got knocked out.
Is this one right here?
Yeah, the table gave too early. My head hit the concrete floor.
Oh God! Oh,
my hands were behind my back. I was on Loopy Street. Look, I start trying to get up, and Hunter's gonna pull me back down. Like he wanted me to stay there because I was
snoring.
Yeah, and so what happened was, okay, this has been fast forwarded, but what happened was, I was supposed to pretend to get knocked out. That's why we did the thing on the table. So it was supposed to be a pretend spot, so I'd get taken to the back, and then I was supposed to come back to finish the match.
You know what's crazy is that you guys use regular tables. Don't you think you should use a fucking wrestling table? Shouldn't someone design a table that can take the kind of fucking weight that you guys can? You guys are regular conference tables from Costco. They're just rolling in fucking regular tables.
Hey, that's wrestling, man.
Yeah.
They don't spare any expense. They just
So did you wake up and realize what was happening?
All right, I don't remember any of it. What happened was they wheeled me back. And Rock and Triple H were out there still wrestling because it was a triple threat match. I was part of it. And they wheeled me back, and I'm back there. And they're getting ready to do a live shot of me. They're getting ready to do a live shot of me where I was going to tell them, Stephanie was going to say, Kurt, I want you to go out and help Triple H. Do it for me. And I was going to say, all right, I'll do it for you, Steph. So they told me to say it, and I forgot. So I said, what am I saying again? And Stephanie said, just say, I'll do it for you. I said, what am I saying again? I did this like 8 times. And Vince is in the background. He's like, God damn it, get him some smelling salts and get him out there. So I end up going back out, and I don't remember. I don't remember any of it. They carried me through the match, and there were spots where I had to duck, and they actually pulled my head down and, would hit somebody else when I was supposed to duck at it, Like I wasn't able to do it. So I was out there just being a dead human being, and they're like pulling me around, and in pro wrestling, you can still have a match even if one person is incoherent. So that the other person carries that person and tells them to do whatever. So they were telling me what to do during that match. But I don't remember anything. I ended up in the hospital that night, and I came to and said, what happened? They said, oh, God, you don't remember anything tonight? I said, no. I don't remember anything.
They should have probably taken you to the hospital immediately, which is what's crazy about pro wrestling. Like, no, the show must go on.
Well, listen, that wouldn't happen now. This was in like 2000. Yeah,
it was a different time.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy is that they really didn't understand head trauma until really that movie Concussion. When that movie came around, then people started looking at like what's going on with football players and what's going on with boxers, and they really started looking at it more differently.
You know what? I'm wondering if they're starting to like pro wrestling has this what's it called when concussion rule? Okay, so if you had concussions, they'll take care of it. So what I'm saying is, don't you think UFC that a lot of their fighters are going to end up with some kind of brain damage?
100%.
And that there's going to be some liability that comes out?
Well, I don't know if there's going to be some...
I'm just wondering if something like that is going to happen, because these guys don't use gloves.
Right.
They got the small ones.
Well, not only that, you're getting kicked. You're getting
kicked in the head.
Yeah, you're getting kicked, kneed. You're getting slammed on your head.
You see all the damage that's done in boxing.
Yes.
And I mean, MMA is probably worse.
Like, think about when Leon Edwards knocked out Kamaru Usman. Think about that kind of a strike.
Yeah,
You're getting head kicked by one of the greatest strikers to ever do with sport.
Might as well get hit in the head with a baseball bat. A leg of an athlete like that is.
Oh yeah.
It's just hard as a wooden bat.
You're getting bone, shin bone, right to your neck.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's crazy. And, who knows? They do their best to mitigate some of that in training, but some guys don't. Some guys spar real hard in training. And it's like, it's part of the sport. And they know it coming in, and they now, there's no denying it. You're literally in the brain damage business. Here it goes. Boom.
Oh, jeez.
And when you know how good Kamaru takes a shot, to see Kamaru go out like that.
Now,
just
what
nuts.
kind of long-term damage do you think that just occurred to that guy?
It's a real good question. And it varies with everyone. There's some guys that got knocked out a bunch of times and they're fine.
Jeez.
And there's a thing called, I think it's called APOE4. There's like a gene expression that if you have that, you're more susceptible to CTE than other people. And it's different. But it doesn't mean that you're immune to it if you don't have it. I mean, you're getting kicked and punched and, headbutts, guys clash heads all the time. It's a very, very, very hard sport. And without doubt, there's going to be guys who the rest of their lives are dealing with the consequences of that. And we see it. We see it with the older fighters. Some of these guys are just in complete agony. Like Don Fry. Don the Predator Fry is a legend. Like one of the greatest ever.
He's a legend, yeah.
Don was in here. I mean, he's hurt, man. It's hard for him to walk. He's like everything is in pain. He can't hardly move that good.
You talk about an old school fighter, man. That guy was a badass.
He's a bad motherfucker. He's a real old school man.
He was there at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The very, very, very early days. Mark Coleman, too.
Yeah.
Look, Mark Coleman's got a celebrity boxing match in October against Montel Griffin. Montel Griffin, who fought Roy Jones Jr., who was a light heavyweight champion.
Is that why Mark's been training? Okay.
Yeah. Hammer House for life! Yeah, if you watch his Instagram,
you know what? He was
maniac.
one of my opponents to make the Olympics.
Was he really?
Yeah, him and Mark Kerr.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were badasses. Those two gave me the worst problems in 1993 and 94.
Really?
They're the ones that were beating me. And then I ended up beating them in 95, 96. But I went through, if you saw my documentary, it's about my training and what I did. What I was doing was exhaust training. That's when you train till you're exhausted, and that's when the training actually begins. And it's almost a form of torture. I learned it from the University of Iowa head wrestling coach, Dan Gable.
Yeah. Dan Gable's a
taught
fucking
his wrestlers
man.
this. And it's about staying in someone's face and just keep going at it. Just never back off. Just stay in there and just keep hand fighting and keep attacking. And that's what I was doing. I was staying on my opponents and getting them tired. Once I got tired, I was scoring. And so I wasn't the biggest or the fastest or the strongest or the most technical, but what I knew I could be is the most well-conditioned.
Here it is.
This is Kerr. This is Mark Kerr. Yep.
Wow.
This is Mark Kerr when he was a normal size.
Yeah.
But Mark Kerr went on to fight in the UFC and went on to fight in Pride. Oh, my God.
Oh, the Smashing Machine.
When he was the Smashing Machine,
Yeah.
That documentary is insane. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did.
The documentary on Kerr?
Yeah, I did.